So I will say, you know, I'm not necessarily proud of everything that the Legion did, but they also did use soul engines that quite literally used souls as direct power for their machines. I think that speaks volumes about the power of the soul, and also speaks volumes about maybe why the Titans would want to imprison Azeroth. Because if she is kind of like the soul of the cosmos, then if they can manipulate that, if they can basically get control of that, the implication is that they would have control over every cosmic force, chat. That's why the Firim writings in the Sepulchre are so important, and why he tries to point out that any one cosmic force pushing the others over the brink could potentially fuck the whole system. Right? It's why when the Jailer wields the power of Azerite, which was enough to power every cosmic forge, by the way, just let that sink in. Zereth Mortis, Zereth Vita, Zereth Umbra, Zereth fucking Tumult, Zereth yada yada, all of them at the same time. That's how powerful Azeroth is. That should just go to show you, once again, and the fact that her power is compatible with literally all of the cosmic force's direct cores, I think is kind of a big fucking implication, don't you? Like, why is she compatible? It's because she's everything. It's because she's God. It's because she's the creator, right? I've been trying to say it for it's been over 5 years now. I will continue to say it. This guy's trying to tell you. This guy's trying to tell you. And the guy in the future is going to try to tell you that. So that's not going to change. It's just not going to change.
The cycle, the circle being completed.
Think about this.
Of rebirth.
Azeroth, Zereth Mortis, What? How come First One's stuff reacts to the champion of Azeroth? Come on. The first one's, at least one of them is Azeroth, and I'd say the other one is probably Argus, but that's, you know, and I think that they probably split, created everything. Their children were born, children overthrew Argus, imprisoned both of them. While Azeroth slept, they built a fucking prison around her. They used Argus as a conduit to police the use of magic in the cosmos so that nothing else could get out of whack. Sargeras broke free, led the Legion as a fucking crusade to get back at them for what they fucking did. And now they beat him again thanks to us. So now they're going to come back and they're going to reassert control over this world. And we better hope that, hope being a big key, that Azeroth wakes up. Why did Azeroth go to sleep? Probably the same reason that I think Argus may have gone to sleep. And if they did go to sleep willingly, it's probably just because they were fucking tired. Let's just say this. You're the supreme being, okay? Your energy, okay? You wake up, you're brilliant, you're creative, you're flowing outward into all things. It's awesome. This is fucking sick. You know, this is fucking sick, okay? You're creating things, slinging this, slinging that, light, void, order, chaos, shadow, light. You're fucking doing all, or I said shadow and light and void. You know what I'm trying to say? Life and death, that's what I meant. All these things, right? But you get kind of fucking tired, you know? Whew, that was a long 7 days. Man. I'm gonna take a sleep. I'm gonna take a rest now. And you go to sleep. And then your children, who are basically gods because you gave them some of your power, but not as perfect as you because you made them all and your creations can't be you, right? Doesn't work like that. They're always going to be a little bit different. They rhyme, but they're not identical, okay? They get this inkling in their butthole where they're like, maybe we've been through this cycle before. Maybe this has happened before. And maybe they found a way to like document it. I don't know, through like Norganon or something. Or maybe they peered through time and Aman'Thul saw the end, and so now they're freaking out because they don't want to die, right? They don't want the cosmos to reset. So the Titans go instead, you know what? Fuck that. Fuck mom and fuck dad. We're gonna overthrow both them bitches. We don't give a shit because this is order and we don't want to die. So, believing probably through their own hubris, because that's the trend in these creator stories, the guy who gets the creative powers from God almost always has too much pride, which is Lucifer, Melkor, Sargeras, etc. But also, I think the Titans, most likely stolen or manufactured power, because I'm starting to really question how legitimate their powers actually are, considering that when we compare them to Azeroth, they clearly are different. So with that being the case, you know, the Titans do all this stuff, imprison all the bullshit, and now here we are, the mortals having to clean it up. Sargeras lost his fucking mind. That guy's fucking lost his shit. He's so fucking mad and full of hate and absolutely terrified at what they're doing that he just completely lost control of himself and is now just trying to allegedly eradicate all the life in the cosmos, which doesn't make sense to me. He was also allegedly fell, and then we saw him in, he wasn't fell, so, you know, maybe some lies being thrown around about what Sargeras really wants to do. Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think that the Legion sent full force everything they could have sent at us? Here, let me just answer that for you. No. No, they didn't. And I think that if they wanted to wipe out literally all the life on the planet, they probably could have, but I don't know if that's really necessarily their goal. But I'm not a cultist. I'm not subscribing to the genocide of entire planets, okay? I'm just saying maybe a god knows something that we don't. But once again, if we're basing it on Lucifer, Melkor, those types of entities, he's probably wrong. He's doing the wrong thing. Or at least he's trying to do the right thing, probably through the wrong means. But again, those two others tried to overthrow God themselves, right? So the thing that I think might be occurring here is that I don't necessarily know if Sargeras, like Lucifer and Melkor, is trying to directly overthrow Azeroth, God, and take their power. It's just hard to see it that way. To me, it almost seems like the other ones, they're the ones doing that, right? I can't be the only one seeing this, right? That like, it seems like the typical story is reversed, where it's not, there's a bunch of myths and stories about Sargeras wanting to take Azeroth's power or being obsessed with her or something like that. There's really not a ton of them. There's like one or two of them, and they don't actually say what I just said. That's heavily paraphrased and should probably not be used for any type of evidence, but it's just like, it seems like the Titans are kind of more the ones that put her under control and are trying to get her power. Like, why? What, like, and so I'm thinking, this is an example of how these stories, as with all things in World of Warcraft, are never one-to-one. You can't solve any single character's story arc, I don't think, by just looking at like one mythological reference. It doesn't work. Like, you have to look at the mishmash that creates different characters, because a character might be named Odin, but then like look like Father Time and have the powers of Thor. So like, and there's relations there and stuff, like could be reasons for that, but it's a mishmash, right? So it's like trying to look at Sargeras just as Lucifer and just as Melkor, probably not going to work. Because once again, like most things in this game, they are heavily inspired by mythology, religion, other tropes and games and movies that predate this one, D&D, that type of stuff. While that is true, I don't think that, like we've seen, it's not typically a direct copy. So the truth lies in being able to compare and contrast those inspirations. And the thing is that Sargeras is not just inspired by Melkor and Lucifer, for the record. He's also inspired by like fucking Sigmar and Wonder Woman. Like, what the fuck? And Surtur, like, it's not just these two. So while even in my head, I look at it and go, oh, they were super prideful, that's why they've done this. I don't want to let myself fall into the trap of like, oh, that's just the answer. Because it probably is not. There's probably something switched around. Someone is in a different spot, than what they typically would be in their myth or mythos or legends or whatever they come from. Fucking H.P. Lovecraft, whatever type shit. It's from everything. But it's not a one-to-one copy. Seemingly like none of it is. And maybe that's just I don't know, that's how I perceive it. So yeah, that's pretty much a rant on the connected oneness and like inspiration for characters and what Azeroth is and